Welcome back, everyone. All right, all right, all right. You know that expression, and you know exactly who that expression is associated with. He's one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood and has been for the last 3 decades. He's a husband, a father, a philanthropist, an Oscar winner, and now an author, sharing his insights on the road of life and all its lanes in his new memoir, Greenlights. Please welcome to the social, Matthew McConaughey. Hello, Matthew.
Hello all, how are we doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations on the book. Let's get started with the title. So much is packed into this book, but the title is Greenlights. What's the idea behind this title?
The idea behind the title is when you look at the symbol that's under the paperback that has my face on it, this is what's on the cover. So, green lights in life, we love those. They affirm our way. They tell us go, proceed, attaboy, good job, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. We love them. The red and yellow lights in life, we don't usually like those. They slow us down. They make us stop in our tracks. They come with, tragedy, intervention, etc. But they also give us kind of times and forms of repose. And while we don't want them, usually we find out there's something we needed within those red and yellow lights. And a green light asset will be revealed to us later in life. Sometimes in the moment we can realize, oh, there's something I'm supposed to learn in this hardship. Sometimes we don't notice till tomorrow, next week, next month, or maybe on our deathbed. But I do believe, and the central theme through the book, as I've seen through my life, that all my yellow and red lights did eventually turn green or reveal green light assets from them. So that's basically what Greenlight's about. It's about finding our frequency to see the green lights in the red and yellows.
Well, it's a terrifically fascinating book, and it is a memoir, and it's based on your own personal journals. And I have to say, I have kept a journal off and on throughout my life, and I find myself going back and revisiting moments and wish I'd written more, but sometimes I would censor myself. I was afraid of who might pick it up. So I'm curious about, how did you overcome this idea of worrying about what you were exposing and censoring yourself versus telling your complete truth?
I didn't. I completely, in writing my diaries, I never had any fear that someone might open them. I always had them by my side. I had them locked up in a treasure chest and carried them with me. And they grew in that treasure chest as the years went by, and I wrote and filled more diaries out. When I got to the book, my first rule was do not, censor anything. Let's be as bold and put out there everything, and then have a look, because there are some things that stories that I don't go into that could be very juicy and salacious and otherwise. But I was like, there's nothing constructive about that. It's really, some of the stories were not my story to tell. Maybe they involved other people that I'm like, you know what, I may be the main character in that story, but that wouldn't be decent of me to share that. So I didn't want to hang anyone else out to dry. As far as myself, before I went away to write, I thought I was going to be really embarrassed. I thought I was going to be shamed over a bunch of things in my past. And I had some embarrassment looking back, but most of the things I was embarrassed about, I laughed at. Most of the things that I felt shame about, I learned to forgive myself about over the last, 35 years. And so in the book, you get all the scars, you get a lot of glory in it too. And I just, it was a very freeing experience to write it down and share it. And again, it's not me expunging going, oh, now I've unloaded this. Now look at who I am. It wasn't that. It was more just, hey, this is kind of how it went down. And hopefully, this is nothing I noticed. The more personal I got in my stories, the more relatable it became to more people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of people who would hear the words McConaughey and memoir and ask the question, is there an audiobook and will he be narrating it?
The answer is yes and yes. There is an audiobook. It is, you can get it right now. And I recorded that about 2 weeks ago. And that was a hoot to record. Because as you can see when you read the book, you hear it in my voice and my storytelling voice.
Yeah.
But to then be able to record it and perform the characters that were in my stories, and to be able to laugh and give you the verbal innuendos and everything else. And you hear the lilt of my voice, and I'm about the punchlines coming, and I'm about to eat, meat crow. And so it was a hoot. My favorite read of the book was when I read out the audiobook and performed it, what's in the audiobook.
You and I obviously come from different backgrounds, but this is what the power of stories are, and they create empathy and connection. So my parents had a tumultuous relationship. They split up and got back together twice. Your
Okay.
parents also had a pretty interesting
Yeah.
relationship. They got back together. They got married 3 times. So my question to you
Divorced
is,
twice,
what
married
did
three
you?
times.
That's right. So I've never met anybody I can relate to on this level. Nobody who has divorced parents ever get back together. So I'm talking to somebody who knows. So what did you learn about love through your relationship, through your parents' relationship, and how did that shape your idea of your
Hmm.
family? You're starting your own family.
Yeah. Well, my parents were, and it sounds like yours were too, examples of, boy, can't live with you, can't live without you. It was a
Mm-hmm.
very passionate love affair they had. Now, I did not know until later in life that some of those times when mom wasn't there, and I thought she was just on an extended vacation. I later found
Oh,
out that was the middle of the second divorce. Oh, that's why she was gone so
right.
long. It was sure a long vacation. Um, and let me tell you this, Camilla, who I am now married to, and is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, her parents were married twice, divorced 3 times. So that her parents
Wow.
ended up divorced, mine ended up together. So we came together and shared that story, and we were like asking ourselves the very question you're asking to me right now. Hey, how do we feel about this marriage thing? The examples we've grown up looking at, it was a pretty rocky road. It didn't keep us from shying away from getting married, but it did make us laugh and go, well, that's not how we want to do it. We want to do it once, and hopefully that's it. And so
Yeah.
far, so good. So far, so good.
Well,
Yeah.
keeping with that, you mentioned Camilla, you've been together for 15 years or almost 15 years.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we are in, I would say, a phase of the world where it's almost like a yellow light, a collective yellow light. For
Yeah.
many people, a red light. This has been trying times for the best of couples. So, what have you learned maybe about your relationship during the past 8 months?
I would say this. I mean, we're all forced to be on top of each other much more right now, and that's not always easy. Um, it's nice to have some distance when we can engage in our own life and go have private time because it's nice to come back together. If we're all on top of
Hmm.
each other all the time, everybody can get on everybody's nerves. If you've got kids, everyone needs something, and in relationships as well. I mean, I would say this: it's a great time if you're getting a little short-centered with your reactions with your loved ones. It's a great time to give a little amnesty. It's a great time for sense of humor. That's been one of the great things for us right now. Is her and I'll get tight. We're handling the kids and they're stressing over this, handling all these things. They're on top. We got to get them in virtual school. We got my mother with us, who's 88 years old. She needs certain things that are help. And then you look up, and Camille and I sometimes you look up at 10 p.m. after everyone's to bed, and it's the first time of the day you go, "Hey, how you doing?" You got to go, "Oh yeah, whew." And you know, sense of humor in times when we've gotten tight to go, hey, it's a good time to have a laugh. And I say this in the book: if you don't know how to react to a situation, if you can make the default emotion sense of humor, it can usually be very helpful because we're in it. I talk about in the book, when
Mm-hmm.
faced with the inevitable, get relative. We are all in it. There's nothing we can do unless one of us on the screen has the cure, which I do not. We are all trying to navigate through this. Hearing stories like this helps to hear that, because usually when we're in stressful times, we think we're the center of the world. It's only happening to us. So you go on a show like this, we talk about it, just letting couples or people know, oh, I'm not the only one. Everyone's going through this. So it kind of gives you a little more patience and a little more resilience.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, I needed that. Let's talk about your father because the stories you share in the book are just incredible about him. He was an intense man, and you had a really special relationship with him. And you, in fact, have said that you realized how much you wanted to be a father. The
Yeah.
only thing you ever knew was that you wanted to be a father through, I think, your relationship with him.
Yeah.
So, talk about how becoming a father has changed you.
Yeah. So being a father is the only thing that I've ever known I wanted to be. And I knew it at 8 years old. I remember I was meeting some friends of his, and he was a big sirs and ma'ams, please and thank you, man. So I was meeting his friends, and I'm shaking their hands and, nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you, sir. And it hit me in that moment that, oh, the common denominator of every man that I've said yes, sir, to and been taught to say yes, sir, to, they were all fathers. And so in my 8-year-old mind, I go, oh, that's when you've made it. Oh,
Mm.
that's when you've succeeded in life to be a father. So I knew from that day, and I've continued to know. So now I have children of my own. They're 12, 10, and 7. I mean, the first lesson that you learn, if any parent learns, that is, it's more about DNA than you thought.
So true.
You know it. The second thing is how quickly they pick up in you your own innuendo that you think you and their mother or you and their father are getting away with. How they're reading in between lines, they pick it up. They know what you're talking about much sooner than you think they will. They're wise little clever creatures in that way. The other thing that we just, my mom had always said this, you're about to become a parent. The world gives you books and advice. Here's what you should do. Da, 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 da. And I always remember going like, wait, let me ask for it first before you just loading these books. Hang on. And I remember talking to my mom and she was like, look, there's so many ways to do it. But the one thing you can always do, and you can never go wrong if you do this, is just love them. And I'll be able to tell you more about it once they're all out of the house, which should be around there.
Next book.
Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow for more of our interview with Matthew. He talks about some of his major green lights, including his first big break in Hollywood. His book, Greenlights, is out now. We'll be right back.